G'day guys, Alan here. Welcome back to the workshop. In this short video I'm going to have a look at a bench that I've made, a potting bench. Yes, it's more woodwork for those who don't care for it. But in my workshop I cover a whole range of stuff, and in putting the videos together it's in part to give something back to the YouTube community, but also in part building a video diary, if you like, of some of the stuff that I get up to, and I'll be able to reflect on that in my dotage when I'm too old to do this sort of stuff. And I don't know how far away that is, mind you. But anyway, so this is a potting bench, and I'm making it, or I have made it, for my son's partner. She's a beautiful lady, a really lovely person, and she's a keen gardener and does a bit of potting out, so it's a bit of a surprise and I hope she'll like it. It's a very rustic style, and it's made in my usual fashion, from materials to hand, and that is right in with her ethic as well. She's very keen on recycling, reuse and such. So the slats on the top here I've made out of some old Jarrah fence posts, and I'll just do a little bit of detail on how I did that in a minute. The legs are from fence rails from the front fence of my property. I had to replace that a while back. And the only piece I bought is this, the bearer, which is actually cypress pine. That's a Queensland softwood, but it has a very high natural resistance to termites rotting and such. And I know it will appeal to her that there's no chemicals or anything artificial in this bench. Okay, so just have a quick look at a couple of aspects of how I built it. So the starting point for my slats were these recycled fence posts. It's 5 inches by 3 inches, or 125 by 75. And I wanted to cut some slices off, about 18 thick. So the way I did that, my saw isn't large enough diameter to do this in one pass. So I went through once, turned it over, went through again, and with a bit of care I got a pretty reasonable result. This was an early prototype, so you can see here perhaps the saw cuts didn't line up, but I got better. The other thing is, this early piece was done with the 40-tooth crosscut blade that was in the machine, and it really wasn't appropriate. It was working hard to try and get through this. I guess it couldn't clear the chips. So I went out and bought this ripsaw blade. It's a 20-tooth, and that made short work of it, and actually left a pretty good finish as well. It is a fine saw cut if you look closely, but it's entirely appropriate for a potting bench. So I cut my posts into 500 long sections, because that's how long I wanted the slats to be, which just made it much easier for processing. So that's how I made these things, and perhaps a note on how I did the drilling. I set a little jig up like this to correctly position the hole in the corner. So then I go in my drill press, I go 1, 2, 3, 4. So in quite short order I was able to drill all the holes and get a very neat pattern. So that's how I did that. Alright, well that about wraps it up. Perhaps there was something interesting for you there. In any case, thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.